Hello everyone, Birthday7 here, back in with another Bloons City 6 video. More Bloons City Battles 2 videos are coming out soon, just be a little bit more patient. So anyways, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail, it's going to be 100 MOAB assassins and 1 eliminator versus all tiers of Lych. Now why 100? Because, well, at the end of the video, I ended up with exactly 100 MOAB assassin abilities, and we're going to be seeing how much, or is that enough to actually beat the final tier of Lych. Each MOAB assassin ability does 750 damage, and that is times 100. So if you used all 100 at once, that is a good chunk of Lich's health. Also, MOAB limiter does 4.5k and it comes back up fairly quickly, so again that will help out a lot. So, well, what is the strategy for the earlier rounds? Since this is Bomb Tower, it's not going to be too difficult, seeing as Bomb is fairly good against boss Bloons. So my general strategy for, I guess, the first tier of Lych was to hopefully save up enough money for Elim. I gave up on that rather quickly, as you'll see later on when Lych actually spawns. I figured that, just get Elim because, why not? It's a cheap tier 5 and I'm going to get it eventually, so why as well just get it as soon as possible. I actually ended up giving up on that idea simply just because since I had to start with Bomb, and Bomb needs a lot of support in the, I guess not really a lot of support. You have to upgrade it a lot in the early game so it actually doesn't suck against like group Bloons or whatever. So yeah, so I ended up having to spend too much on Bomb Towers and not enough on farms to where, I could afford Elim, but it just wasn't really worth it by the time I could actually afford to do so. It's also probably my fault I actually spent too much on Bomb Towers, because I actually went for a 220 bomb. I should have went for like a 023 bomb or a 203 bomb. I should have gotten Cluster Bomb and rushed that instead of going for S220. As again, I ended up getting Cluster Bomb. Like eventually, I just got a 220 before that. It would have been better if I just went for Cluster Bomb immediately, but hey, it doesn't really matter at this point. Anyways, fast forwarding over to tier 1 of Lych, you can see what I mean by, I guess just me like being able to barely afford Elim, but by the time I was actually able to afford it, it really just wasn't really worth it. I only have like $400 left over, and while yes, I did afford Elim, this is not really enough to really, I guess, just afford the natural rounds that come over. And even then, Elim is struggling a bit against Lich Soul, despite it doing 100 damage per shot. Again, ceramics are a huge issue. So again, I figured it would probably just be better just to quit out and then just spam assassins instead of getting Elim, because assassins are still pretty like just decent, although it won't really be as fast as a kill as with eliminator. Although I guess really like kill speed doesn't really matter since this isn't like ranked Lych or anything. So again, I guess it's not really too important. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I wasn't really sure how many assassins I was going to need. So again, I just ended up getting like 3, and then I also did get primary training as well. I also got some recursives in the bag since I do need that to defend natural rounds, so I'm not just like dying to everything. So I figured that this was probably more than enough in order to beat Lych, since again 3 assassins are pretty decent. As you can see here, it's absolutely just draining the HP right here. Lich Soul was a bit worrying because I feel like I did need the abilities if Lych did get too far across the map, that the assassins won't actually be able to hit Lych due to the hedges from the hedge map. I originally again wanted to do snipers for this one, but like this is a terrible map for snipers, so I just figured that it probably wasn't even worth trying. I probably could have done it, but again, this is just like an awful map for snipers that I just didn't even want to bother trying. So yeah, so I guess snipers for next week for Bloonarius. I really do want to show off the new sniper buff that Sniper got. If you haven't heard or seen the patch notes, the buff that bottom path Sniper got, it was really mainly bottom path Sniper. Middle path also got some, I guess, reworks. Not really, I guess, buffs and nerfs. It's just kind of, I guess, a rework to cross pathing. Anyways, but what change bottom path Sniper got is it gained increased MOAB damage. So I believe it's like Elite Defender has +4 MOAB damage, Full Auto has 3 MOAB damage. So I figured that again combined with top path, sniper would be able to do some pretty good damage with the increased MOAB damage buffs. I'm actually going to super buff it for Bloons next week. I do figure that again, snipers could easily do it just due to the fact that you have increased MOAB damage, and if you combine that with just again a bunch of other buffs like elite sniper, cripple MOAB, super riddle, and all the buffs in general, I do think that snipers can beat Bloons. So for tier 2 Bloons, I'm easily able to actually afford mobile eliminator. I would have stopped there, but again 63s in 3 rounds, and I wasn't really too sure how good against it I'd be, so I just got a few recursives to hopefully just help out a bit against 63. Bomb towers again are fairly good against 63. Recursive cluster in general is fantastic against 63, so I figured that 2 would probably be enough in order to actually just nuke 63. So I just ended up spamming assassins because I figured I might need it against the Lich Soul or just the chain mobs that Lich will eventually spawn. Since I figured that the Lich Soul and chain mobs are gonna get pretty far, so I just wanted some abilities to juggle just in case the chain mobs and Lich Soul do go out of range of the bomb towers. I just need the ability just in case. Although I probably didn't even need the assassins, seeing as again the eliminator ability comes back so fast that it probably wouldn't even matter too much. But it was mainly just to be safe kind of method. I ended up getting assassins in the back, and just to make sure, as this chain mob is getting pretty far, and the assassin ability was taking a while to come back. And again, as you can see, this is fairly easy too far. Again, bomb towers are just fantastic MOAB damage. That's really just mainly where they shine. Also with group damage as well. I guess the stun from Bloon Crush is pretty good, but again, Bloon Crush is so expensive that it just kind of isn't really worth using, my opinion. Although I do end up using it in this run because I do need it for the chain DTs. As you can see here, that chain mob did get pretty far, so that's why I got assassin back. I probably didn't even need it since it was mainly just Elim that actually just ended up killing it. But again, it was mainly just to be safe. So I ended up selling some of the assassins and a cluster bomb, seeing as I didn't really need it. Elim is pretty good MOAB damage with 100 damage per shot. This actually kind of surprised me when I read on the wiki it does that much damage. So I guess I would pair really well with Striker Jones. I originally wanted to use Striker Jones for this strategy, but I remembered that, oh yeah, this is Lich. And unfortunately, Striker wouldn't really be too good, mainly just because Lich would steal the double damage buff that he gives to bomb towers. Also, I am going to redo MOAB Eliminator versus Bloons, simply just because I do feel like Eliminator can beat Bloons, but if I had Striker Jones, I think that would be a lot better. Just mainly because the double damage that level 20 Striker gives to bomb towers and mortars, that would make Elim do 200 damage per shot, which would be a massive increase, and especially combine that with Energizer and other cooldown reduction. I do feel like Elim can do it. Also, maybe on a better map. Firing range isn't really the best map for Elim. I guess it really wouldn't be all too best of a map if I'm truly thinking about it. But yeah, I do feel like Elim could do it. Maybe with Striker, Elim maybe could do it. So tier 3 is where we start the MOAB assassin spam. I do have quite a few MOAB assassins. I think that's what, 13 I have. I probably didn't even need that many, but again, it was really just to make sure. It was better to over defend than under defend. I didn't really need too much money. I just need enough money to just fill the map with assassins, which I got exactly 100 of them. That is the most amount I can fit on this map. Although with pixel perfect placement, you could probably get so much more. But well, I guess just with like humans, 100 was the best I could do. So I just spam assassins for this tier of Lich. I wasn't really sure how many I needed, so as the round kept going, I just spammed more and more assassins, as I was also worried about super ceramics, seeing as recursive cluster was starting to fall behind a bit with super ceramics in later rounds. I've noticed, even though middle path bomb doesn't have its extra ceramic damage anymore because NK got rid of that in the most recent update, I figured it was better than nothing, and it also would help out more against the chain mobs and Lich Soul. again, like all the rest of the tiers, this one isn't too difficult. It does require me to actually just pay attention just a bit more. I could just like spam the assassin ability, but I really was worried back in with Lich Soul and Chain MOABs. I'm actually just killing the Lich Soul so fast that like it really only drains like 5 health each time, so I don't really need, bottom path marketplaces in order to actually like regain lives. I do ended up getting some bottom path marketplaces for the next few tiers, as I wasn't really sure how fast I was going to kill those Lich Souls, or in general if I was actually able to get down to the first skull. But anyways, that is tier 3 of Lich, beaten fairly easily. Alright, so tier 4 of Lich was pretty much the same thing as just tier 3. I started spamming primary mentoring around all the assassins just for reduced cooldown reduction. I ended up buying a tech bot just exclusively for Eliminator, since the ability comes back so fast, and I really didn't feel like keep spamming 1, especially since I'm gonna have to keep spamming 2 over and over and over again. My fingers actually started to end up hurting by the time this video ended. Anyways, I did get Bloon Crush in the back. Unfortunately, I forgot to give Bloon Crush counter detection, so Bloon Crush didn't even like hit the DTs at all. This was actually kind of annoying because that meant I actually had to spam assassins again all around the map. Alright, so the setup was the same as last time, except instead of spamming primary entries around the map, I spammed MIBs all around the map, and just to help out a bit more against DTs. The DTs were the main thing I was just really worried about. Wasn't really sure if Bloon Crush was going to be able to stun all the DTs, seeing it's just they're incredibly fast, and even then it was just like barely Bloon Crush was actually able to stun them. Fortunately, he was able to do it for all the skulls. Not really sure why I'm referred to it as he, seeing as it's just a cannon. But anyways, something I completely ended up forgetting is the Bomb Blitz ability. I completely forgot the ability existed and that it would activate every time I lost lives, so I guess it's free damage. I'm not really sure how much the Bomb Blitz ability does. If I had to guess, it'd probably be, I'd guess like 700 to 1,000 damage. I'm not really sure if it's that, or it might even be less, who knows. But again, it was just something I completely forgot about. I really got Bomb Blitz just to help out against for Super Ceramics, which as you can see, Recursive isn't able to clean up all of them, but just with the sheer amount of assassins I have, Super Ceramics aren't really too much of an issue, although they are making it a bit far. But thankfully, Bloon Crush is able to easily stun all the Super Ceramics. If you ask me, I think that Bomb Blitz still needs a bit more of a buff to actually be useful in chimps modes, seeing as, again, there's no real reason to get Bomb Blitz in chimps mode, seeing as the ability is worthless in chimps mode. So again, there's that. I ended up selling Assassin in the back just to get Bloon Impact in the back, just in case, some ceramics did make it a bit far, since Lich is more than halfway through the track at this point, and so I was a bit kind of worried that maybe stray Bloons would get a bit far, so Bloon Impact was just there just for insurance. It did heal Lich, but thankfully it wasn't really a whole lot, to the point where it didn't really truly matter. And as you can see here, the Bomb Blitz ability activates every single time the Lich Soul spawns, which is pretty nice. That means that Bomb Blitz has a relatively short cooldown, although that could be just because of primary expertise up in the front. I don't really know too much about the middle path bomb, aside from Recursive Cluster, seeing as I never really used Bomb Blitz. I never actually used it in a chimps match. I think Bomb Blitz is one of the few towers I've never used in chimps mode. Same thing with probably like with MOAB Dom, Bloon Crush, and Inferno Ring. So I guess it's just kind of that. I never really use it simply just because I don't really feel like it's that useful in chimps mode. So anyways, that was tier 4. Fairly easy, not too hard. I'm gonna have to sell the marketplaces in the bottom just to fit all 100 MOAB assassins. Alright, so tier 5 of Lich with 925 lives. I figured that was more than enough. And here, this is all 100 MOAB assassins I can fit on the map. I couldn't fit any bomb towers in the middle sections, as you could see. I really did try. I truly did. If you can fit it, it's probably pixel perfect placement, and I didn't figure it was actually worth it. So now I just had to spam 2 the entire match. The ability, MOAB Assassin's ability came back so frequently that I could infinitely spam 2, and I just wasn't actually really draining the ability count at all. If anything, it's kept slowly going up at some point. So again, my fingers actually start hurting by the end of it. Thankfully, I did end up stopping doing that, so I guess that was good for my fingers, I guess. So as you can see, the damage so far isn't really too amazing. This actually did surprise me a bit, seeing as, you know, it was 750 damage per ability use, and I was just like constantly spamming the ability. I even got like my mouse to help me like click the ability and spam too, so I could like spam the ability just as much as possible. But even still, with all that, the damage it's doing just isn't good. So anyways, as you can see, 100 MOAB Maulers and 1 MOAB Eliminator cannot beat Lych, unfortunately, or at least beat tier 5. It can beat tiers 1 through 4 fairly easily, but tier 5 it just can't. Maybe on like an easier map it can, but on Hedge it just can't. So I guess there's that. If you enjoy the video, you know, like, comment, subscribe, join Discord. You know, link is down below in the description. I'm mainly kind of active there. Well, I guess not really that active since there's only like what 2 other people on the server. And so it is a place where, you know, if you want to play, I guess just matches against me or some other people in general, I guess that's the place to go. And also, I guess just there's that. So yep, at the end of the video here, unfortunately, even with the 100 MOAB Assassins, it's still nowhere near enough to beat Lych. Although I did get him down to half health, so maybe if it was a bit longer of a map, I could have easily done it, but I ended up just dying to Lich's soul here. So I figured I would just give up there.